Welcome to the Oliver Fetter YouTube channel. Today I'm working on my 1984 Volkswagen Rabbit with a 1.9 liter ALH turbo diesel. And kind of wrapping up some things, slash this is a project update video, I suppose. Since that's kind of the direction we're headed now. So, I blew my new 1.9 up last fall because my other oil cooler line that used to go over here failed at the fitting, and I lost oil pressure, and I didn't have a dummy light, and so I literally drove my car out of oil on the highway. So, that's roached all the cylinder walls, and pistons and all that, and basically this is what got replaced. Pistons, turbo cartridge, oil pump, and some other things. Oy oy. Anyhow, it's back in. It runs great. I have about 50 miles on the rebuild so far, and I'm looking to kind of get it dialed in. I think general trajectory is I need to put another 50 miles on it, and then I want to change the oil. So I'm going to do my first oil change at 100 miles, and I've been using Shell Rotella T4 as my break-in oil. So I'll do another oil change with T4, and then I figure when I hit 500 miles, I will switch over to T6, full synthetic, much better for actually beating on this. We're kind of working down the last few things here. Mainly polishing things up. I do need to reconnect my oil cooler at some point. I want to put in an oil temperature gauge before this thing sees any track use, because I kind of feel like on my 1.6 the reason it knocked after a track day was because probably the oil got too thin and hot, but I couldn't tell because I don't have an oil temperature gauge. And then kind of some other miscellaneous crap. The last engine rebuild, I put a new steering rack in it, and I never got it aligned. But I also put a new wheel bearing in it last fall because the hub nut came loose, and that already went bad. So I'm assuming just poor parts quality on that one because I have been torquing it now. So today I have a new wheel bearing, which I'm not going to show at length because I already made a wheel bearing replacement video. So check my how-to section if that's what you need. But I'm going to replace the front wheel bearing again just so the suspension and steering's actually tight. And then the other low-hanging fruit for today is actually a breather hose tie-in. So right now the stock ALH breather just comes out of the valve cover and dumps just into my engine space, and it smells like oily smoke in the car, and at red lights there's just like steam coming out of the hood. So pretty easy way of addressing this. I have this 90-degree, I want to say this is a 3/4 inch barb fitting, and it's gonna go right in there. And then I got another 3/4 inch barb fitting, and this here is my air intake, and I'm gonna tap into this after I take it off the car and run a hose between the two. So it'll be a very standard breather system. Now, assuming like this engine's healthy and whatnot, I'm not expecting like a shitload of oil to go in the intake. I know some will, and I don't care. I've actually tried a full catch can setup like this, went to a can, went to a return line to the oil pan, and I feel like it's overcomplicated. For the amount of oil it catches, it creates a lot of problems, and as soon as you hook a breather into your oil pan, it really just wants to be another breather. Anyways, I will be linking it directly to my intake, and if later there's like a massive amount of oil in my intake, then I will revisit how I'm doing this. But for now, I just want it to stop steaming at red lights, and I want to stop breathing it in my cab, so we're going to go nice and simple on the breather tie-in. And just the car at large, I guess this is the build update part of it. I'm just trying to get it track ready. I really want to get back to the High Plains Raceway with this car. It's been over a year, and I want to do it in such a way that it's A, bomber, and B, I'm not going to ruin it the first time. So that definitely looks like having everything in place and a sufficient number of miles on it. Like, I think driving 500 miles before tracking it is pretty important, which means I actually need to drive my car. And I also think the instrumentation, the oil cooler lines, and then the other thing that's kind of a nagging whatever is tires. I have like 10-year-old Yokohama S drives on it, which aren't really track tires to begin with. So I would really like to put a pair of sticky track tires on it before going back. And I know my other thing from the racetrack was a sway bar, but that might wait till after it gets tracked next time. We shall see. So that's kind of the direction we're headed. It's like fine-tuning, bomb-proofing, breaking in new engine. And hopefully by the end of the summer, it's bomber and it's track car. The one thing I totally regret not doing, and at this point I think it's just too late, is measuring ring gap. I really wish I measured ring gap when I was assembling this, just for peace of mind, so when I go to the track and like get it hot as fuck, that I don't fully close my ring gap and like scuff the cylinder walls. But at this point, to tear it down isn't the move, so we're gonna hope for the best on ring gap, and we're really just gonna watch like oil temperature instead. Keep that under a reasonable number. Without further ado, I'm gonna go ahead and throw these in, and then we're gonna tackle the wheel bearing, and that's probably about all I'm gonna do today because I don't have a ton of time, but you know, one little step at a time. Okay, so I got my intake elbow with fitting installed. It's not like super duper angled or anything fancy, but this pipe should be experiencing a slight negative pressure, and this is most definitely at a positive pressure, so it should work out. And there's my fitting installed in the head. Again, both of these are 3/4 inch, which actually works out perfect, or like to a nice tight fit with whatever this is. Also 3/4 inch. Wow, look at that. Who would have guessed? So now I'm just gonna throw it all back in there, and we should have a breather tie-in and no more random steam in my engine bay. All right, and it's in. We're not really getting any beauty points for this one, but it's brutally effective, and it's a short run. So I think that's basically all I was looking for. Minimum amount of complexity, and it doesn't look horrible. I wouldn't say it looks great, but that'll do. Alright, I just got my new bearing pressed in. I pretty much forget every single time when I do this that there's both a snap ring here on the back side, and there's a snap ring like right here on the front side. So, and this is only a 6-ton jack, which is barely enough, but it does get it done. So long as you remember about the snap rings. I usually press the hub out of the center going this way, which then loads this front snap ring a lot. Once the hub's out, which breaks this bearing in half, whack this snap ring with a hammer a few times to unload it, take it out, then push the old bearing out the front, put this snap ring back in, push the new bearing in the back, put the back snap ring back in, push the whole thing back onto the hub. It's actually pretty easy, but I forget how to do it every time. All right, all in day's work. I got 4, I forget what they even are. They're Falcon somethings, like RT660 tires, RT660s, yeah, on Sparco wheels, 4x100. A little bit more offset than my current wheels, and the tires are way better for high temp abuse, and I picked them up for 800 bones. So that kind of concludes today. Wheel bearing is in. Car just drove, no more problems. I just hit 97 miles on the engine, so it's also time to give it an oil change when I'm ready. I need to buy some different studs / lugs for the new wheels. And aside from that, we're moving right along. Still got to do oil lines and oil temperature gauge. But then it's just kind of driving the car after that, which is sick. Stoked to put these on. That will be its own video. Thanks so much for watching. That's what's going on with the Rabbit now. We're kind of moving and shaking. And keep her going.